Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'll kind of go back over just in case somebody missed it. Remember that the judges are from each area, and they created common standards for their area, not necessarily that was nationwide. Okay, reminder that they did write them down. They put them in books, except the book in the northern part of England would be written one way, and the book in the southern part would be written a different way. And there was no standardization. A theft of a horse would be defined in one area versus the theft of a horse in another region. So we ended up having these common standards. They came from they're from the church law. Remember, canon law is church. It's a nice word for that version. Okay, and the word solicitor, yesterday I talked about what a solicitor is. That's actually the English word for lawyer. So if you needed a lawyer, you were suing someone, you got arrested, you didn't go down and go to the legal lawyer, you went to the solicitor. You saw signs, solicitor. And even in the United States, we still have solicitors. We have the Solicitor General of the United States. He is the lawyers appointed by the president, and their job is to plead all cases involving the president or the government against bad people. For example, when President Bush was sued by Guantanamo Bay inmates, it was Bush versus the names of those people, and it was the Solicitor General who represented the president in his issue of how he could keep these people forever and ever in custody. And it was just in the news yesterday. It looks like they're going to bring around 12 or 13 of the terrorists to a prison in Illinois that the government's going to buy to keep them there. And 4 terrorists go on trial in New York, and 30 were released from custody because the courts ruled there wasn't any evidence to hold them any longer. So it's kind of proof that our system says if you don't have criminal activity, can't prove it, move on. All right, evolution of laws. You get this far? No, because this is a separate heading on your sheet. We talked about codified law. We did? Good. Okay, codified law is one of these big things. This is codified law. This is the California Penal Code. It starts with section 1 and ends with section 15,000. Okay. Now that doesn't mean it's 1 through 15. It is 1 through, and there might be like 647, which is 647 A, B, C, D, and it goes all the way through, I think, to about H. And you have all kinds of subsections of each number. So even though it says 1 through 15,000, it can be a whole bunch. Burglary is 459, but there's a whole bunch of subsections all underneath it. So that's why we call it codified law. We write it down. If it isn't written down and there's no punishment assigned to it, it's not a crime. We call it a definition law or an administrative law. For example, in the California Vehicle Code, there is a section that says it is the California Highway Patrol will be tan uniforms, tan pants, blue stripe down the side, and blue ties. And they'll have their patch. It says that. It doesn't say that if you go around and you create a police department or sheriff and you start wearing a highway patrol that you're going to get arrested. It just says that's their color. And it means don't ever go out and do what the other agencies are doing. So what happens is in California, that's how we define it. We also have other laws that are really definitions. Like the very first section, number 2, in the Penal Code says this book or this section is referring to the entire penal law, will take effect on a specific day, 1872. That's all it says. They had to write it down or it wouldn't make any sense to anybody. So our penal code system says we're going to have a standard set of laws for the nation. We did create exceptions to say the state can create its own laws. For example, California has medicinal marijuana law saying you can have marijuana at home as long as you have a doctor's written explanation. The federal government, under federal law, does not recognize medical marijuana. Does not say that it's legal or that you can have it. Federal government technically will, the DEA will technically go out and arrest people. Yes, Adrian?
Can't counties also outlaw it in their own